The second wave is here, and with it, tension and even conflict, as local government finds its voice. As summer turned to autumn, extra restrictions have spread through the Midlands. Then came the tears, the government's attempt to simplify it all. Birmingham, Sandwell, Solihull and Wolverhampton found themselves in Tier 2. They'd already been under restrictions. The difference now, you can't meet up with friends in the pub.
It's going to slow us down a hell of a lot. Not many people are going to want to come out. If they can't sit with their friends and that, they're not going to want to come out, so it's going to slow us down even more. Just trying to keep everybody safe.
On the day the tier system was announced, the Conservative mayor could barely disguise his frustration.
I am disappointed because regional leaders came together on Friday and we were firmly of the view that the existing restrictions we had, which we've all strongly supported, were actually beginning to be effective. We did not support, and neither do I support, the extension to hospitality because it looks as though there is a very small transmission there, and obviously those businesses now face a huge loss of trade.
Also in the first round of Tier 2 announcements, Nottingham. It quickly became the nation's coronavirus hotspot when students returned to the city. Sam Harris is a third-year student who spoke to us while isolating with his housemates 1 week after testing positive.
A friend had worked at quite a prominent bar that runs a lot of freshers events in Nottingham, and that bar had about, I think, 14 cases that reported, and he obviously was one of them because we live in the shared house and we have friends outside the house, independent of this group, that obviously it just spreads like wildfire, doesn't it? What do you expect when you run freshers stalls and freshers events and chuck 40,000 new students into a city?
But as well as just the city of Nottingham, the whole county went into Tier 2, including Mansfield, which had some of the lowest COVID rates anywhere.
They class Nottinghamshire as an entirety instead of the city centre. That's ridiculous, because I live right at the top of Nottinghamshire. I'm 9 miles from Yorkshire, 9 miles from Lincolnshire and 9 miles from Derbyshire, and I'm 33 miles from Nottingham. So it's a little bit ridiculous.
Of course, North Nottinghamshire is now a Tory heartland, and among the local MPs, respectful opposition to the move.
Challenges are around social restrictions. We have a high proportion in Mansfield in particular of things like social isolation, mental health, domestic violence. I'm concerned at the ramifications of those restrictions, which is why I didn't want to go in and why I hope we can be in a position, if we all take responsibility, stick to the rules, keep those levels low, we can come out as soon as possible.
As Walsall and parts of Derbyshire also moved into tighter restrictions, local Labour MPs seized on their leader's call for a more uniform national approach.
I think there is confusion about the tiers, and what we're calling for is a circuit break, so we have a short, sharp change to bring that R number down in line with what SAGE has suggested, and SAGE suggested it some time ago.
I'm not convinced that the scale of the restrictions, the impact that they're going to have on hospitality, which is going to be disastrous, is actually going to make the amount of difference that we need from a health perspective. I think the government have got their priorities wrong.
Even government supporters admit it's been a messy couple of weeks. But as cases rise, what does the winter have in store?
Gareth Owen reporting. Well, I have a slightly reduced panel joining me tonight because of social distancing requirements. For Labour, I'm joined by Lillian Greenwood, the MP for